Patrick Mahomes isn't just the face of Kansas City anymore. Over the years, he's quietly built a massive empire across the city with investments in sports teams, real estate, restaurants, and businesses. And when you see how much of Kansas City he actually owns, it's hard to believe. Let me break it down. Most NFL quarterbacks cash their checks, spend on cars and houses, and call it wealth management. Patrick Mahomes looked at Kansas City and decided to buy it. Not literally, but close enough. At 30, he's already a 3-time Super Bowl champion, 2-time MVP, and owns equity in teams across 4 different sports leagues. Think about that. 4 different sports leagues, all of them tied to the same city. He signed a 10-year, $503 million contract in 2020 and immediately started deploying it, picking up stakes in the Kansas City Royals, Sporting Kansas City, the Kansas City Current, a Major League Pickleball franchise, Whoop, Hyperice, Alpine F1, and Throne Sport Coffee. That's not a portfolio. That's an infrastructure play. His investment moves are anchored in Kansas City in a way that is deliberate and structured. Every deal connects back to the city he calls home. He's not investing from a distance, he's building from the inside out. His wealth stems from the largest contract in NFL history, approximately $20 to $25 million in annual endorsements, and minority ownership stakes in the Kansas City Royals, Sporting KC, the Kansas City Current, and an F1 team. The widely reported $503 million represents the maximum potential value of a 10-year NFL contract, not a single payout. That money is spread across a decade, much of it tied to performance bonuses and roster status. So the jaw-dropping number is real, but it's a ceiling, not a floor. His annual salary from football alone is far lower than the headline number suggests, typically falling in the tens of millions. That's exactly why the business empire matters so much. The real financial acceleration happens off the field. At just 24 years old, Mahomes announced he had taken a minority stake in the Kansas City Royals. He was now a Super Bowl winning quarterback and a Major League Baseball minority owner. Same year he signed that record contract. He didn't wait, he moved. The 24-year-old became the youngest sports owner in history. The Royals' principal owner, John Sherman, was open about why he wanted Mahomes involved. Sherman said, along with the rest of Kansas City, "I have watched Patrick compete and become an extraordinary leader, both on and off the football field." That's not just a feel-good quote. Sherman understood exactly what having Mahomes in the ownership group meant for the franchise. Baseball had always been in his genes. His father, Pat Mahomes, was a pitcher who played at the major league level for 11 seasons. Patrick looked for ways to get involved in baseball other than as a player, and found it when he bought into the ownership group of the Kansas City Royals. This was personal. This was roots. And it was just the beginning. The Kansas City focus is strategic. Mahomes is cementing himself as a key figure in the city's sports ecosystem, building relationships and brand equity that extend beyond his playing career. That's the long game, not the contract, the city. Now let's get into the meat of it, because owning a slice of the Royals was just the opening move on a much bigger chessboard. In 2021, Mahomes expanded into soccer, becoming part of the ownership group for Sporting Kansas City in MLS. Sporting Kansas City, the MLS franchise, is valued at around $557 million. That's a real asset appreciating year by year as MLS continues to grow its footprint in American sports culture. But the soccer move that really made the world pay attention wasn't the men's team. It was the women's. In 2022, Patrick joined his wife, Brittany Mahomes, in the ownership group of the Kansas City Current, becoming the first active NFL player to have equity in an NWSL team. The Current was an early NWSL team that Mahomes and Brittany Mahomes invested in well before women's professional sports valuations had appreciated to their current levels. That's the key sentence. They got in early. Before the wave hit, in March 2024, the club opened CPKC Stadium, an 11,500-seat venue that became the first purpose-built stadium for any women's professional sports team in the world. Let that sink in. First in the world, not first in the league, first on the entire planet. A women's professional sports team in Kansas City now has a stadium that was built specifically for them, which no other women's professional team anywhere had ever had before. Women's sports attendance and media rights are growing at rates that outpace men's sports across most major categories. Mahomes saw that coming. The team sold out multiple matches in the new stadium immediately, suggesting the demand had been there all along. Mahomes himself has been clear about why. He said that the more you invest in women, the more that they give back. The stadium is the proof. He shares the same vision as co-owners Chris, Angie, and Brittany Mahomes of establishing the best women's soccer club in the world, and having the Kansas City Current serve as a model for all of women's sports. So now count the leagues: the NFL, where he still plays, the MLB through the Royals, MLS through Sporting KC, the NWSL through the Current. He also holds a stake in a Major League Pickleball franchise, a sport whose growth curve has attracted investors across the athlete landscape. That's 5 leagues, 5 ownership positions, all while still quarterbacking one of the most dominant football dynasties in NFL history. Mahomes and longtime teammate Travis Kelce joined forces to invest in Formula One, becoming part of the Alpine racing team ownership group. Since their involvement, Alpine has posted back-to-back 6th-place finishes in the Constructors' Championship standings in 2023 and 2024. So now add Formula One to the list. The man has a stake in 6 sports properties across multiple continents. The F1 investment signals global ambitions and alignment with high-growth sports properties. While Kansas City is the home base, the vision clearly extends well beyond Missouri's borders. Mahomes joined an investment group that took stakes in the Alpine Formula One team alongside fellow athletes Rory McIlroy, Anthony Joshua, and Trent Alexander-Arnold. That's the company he keeps in the investment world. Elite athletes who think beyond the sport that made them famous. His financial trajectory suggests a future that rivals the business empires of LeBron James and Tom Brady. Mahomes is building a case to be mentioned in the same breath, and he's doing it at a faster pace than either of them did at the same age. Now here's the part of the empire that hits different, because while sports franchises are the headline plays, the ones that make financial analysts nod approvingly, Mahomes has also built something more tangible in Kansas City. Something people interact with every single day. Burgers, coffee, steak. Mahomes entered the food business by joining an investment group to expand Whataburger locations across Missouri and Kansas. Thanks in part to his efforts, 14 new outlets have opened in the Kansas City area, 11 of which are operated by KMO Burgers, the group he's aligned with. The quarterback is the co-founder of KMO Burgers, a franchisee group that brought Whataburger to Kansas and Missouri. Whataburger is a Texas-based institution with a cult following. Bringing it north into Kansas City was a cultural move as much as a business one. And it worked. In 2025, Mahomes and Kelce teamed up again on the culinary front to launch 1587 Prime, a high-end steakhouse inside the Lowe's Hotel in Kansas City. The name is a nod to their jersey numbers, 15 and 87, and the restaurant adds another high-profile stop to downtown KC's food scene. Mahomes and Kelce co-own the steakhouse in Kansas City, named after their jersey numbers. The restaurant has become a destination for Chiefs fans and adds hospitality to their business portfolios. Then there's the coffee play. And this one is different from all the others because it's not a franchise and it's not a stadium. It's a brand he helped build from the ground up. The Throne Sport Coffee investment in 2024 followed the same pattern as his other moves. Mahomes became the lead investor and second largest shareholder, was involved in product formulation, testing, and distribution deal-making, and is now the public face of the brand's marketing campaign. That last part is key. That is founder-adjacent behavior, not passive celebrity endorsement. He's not just slapping his face on a can. He helped develop the product. He's in the supply chain conversations. He's the second largest shareholder. That's a different level of involvement than most athletes ever give to a brand deal. The product is now available in 20 states and 3,000 stores, from 0 to 3,000 stores, with Mahomes as the face and one of the key decision makers behind it. Throne Sport Coffee is part of a diversified business empire that includes investments in the food, sport, technology, and wellness industries, areas aligned with his professional goals and personal passions. There's no random crypto bet, no detached boardroom investment. It all circles back to sports, wellness, food, and Kansas City. Outside of his investment portfolio, Mahomes also boasts endorsement deals with Nestle, Hugo Boss, Molson Coors, Head Shoulders, Prime, State Farm, Adidas, Oakley, Subway, DraftKings, and T-Mobile. Those deals generated up to $25 million in income in 2024 alone. That's the endorsement engine running in the background while all the ownership stakes quietly appreciate. Forbes estimated his off-field earnings at $25 million in 2024, more than double the next highest NFL player. More than double. The gap between Mahomes and the second most marketable player in the league is enormous. His face, his personality, and his winning percentage have turned him into the most commercially valuable athlete in American professional football. So we've covered the sports franchises, we've covered the food empire. Now let's talk about the part of Mahomes' portfolio that most people completely overlook, the technology investments, because this is where the future money lives. Beyond sports franchises, Mahomes has built a portfolio of performance technology investments that map directly onto his own athletic life. He invested in Whoop at a $1.2 billion valuation, a wearable fitness technology company now valued at $3.6 billion. Let that math land. He got in at $1.2 billion. The company is now valued at $3.6 billion. That's a 3x return on paper, and the company is still growing. Mahomes joined high-profile athletes like Kevin Durant and Eli Manning in investing in Whoop, a tech company known for its wearable fitness devices. The company's valuation has grown substantially as performance tracking becomes mainstream. Every elite athlete in the world is looking for marginal gains. Whoop sells those gains in a subscription model. That's a business with long legs. Then there's Hyperice. He's also an investor and brand ambassador for Hyperice, the athlete recovery brand whose products he actually uses during training and games. Hyperice grew its revenue from $10 million to $200 million in 3 years. $10 million to $200 million in 3 years. That's not a bet on a logo. That's a bet on a category that was just beginning to explode when he got in. Mahomes is also a shareholder in Buzzer, a mobile application for live sports, and American State Bank, a provider of banking services based in Texas. Buzzer is a direct play on how younger audiences are consuming live sports. Short, clipped, on-demand content served straight to your phone. If that model scales, Mahomes is already inside the gate. And American State Bank, a Texas bank. That might seem like the most understated investment on the list, but think about it. A bank in the state where he grew up, where his network runs deep, where his family name carries weight. That's a long horizon play rooted in community and compounding interest, literally and figuratively. His portfolio also includes stakes in high-growth sectors through investments in companies like Whoop and the Alpine Formula One racing team. Alpine, in particular, sits at the intersection of global sports entertainment and high-performance technology, two categories that are growing simultaneously. Now, here's what ties all of these tech bets together. The smartest athlete investments are the ones where the athlete has genuine domain expertise in the category, not just brand recognition. Mahomes grew up around professional sports through his father, a former MLB pitcher, and understands franchise economics and long-term sports business dynamics from the inside. He's not picking stocks blind. He's investing in the tools he uses, the sports he's lived inside of, and the recovery technology that literally keeps his body performing at the highest level. The distinction is that he has genuine domain expertise, not just brand recognition. That's what separates the investments that last from the ones that evaporate when the athlete stops being famous. The quarterback has methodically diversified his portfolio across multiple sectors, focusing on long-term value creation rather than quick returns. Nobody used the word methodically lightly there. This is a deliberate, structured approach, not an athlete stumbling into good deals because his agent made calls. Mahomes is in the room. He's making decisions. He has positioned himself as a serious investor in professional sports, building a portfolio that could generate returns for decades. That phrase, generate returns for decades, is the whole point. The football career ends eventually. The portfolio doesn't have to. Now here's the part that doesn't get talked about enough. Because for all the ownership stakes and the tech investments and the burger joints, there's a whole other dimension to what Mahomes is building in Kansas City, one that doesn't show up on a balance sheet. The 15 and the Mahomes Foundation is dedicated to improving the lives of children. It supports initiatives that focus on health, wellness, communities in need of resources, and other charitable causes. And it was established by Mahomes in 2019, 2 years into his NFL career. Before most quarterbacks even have a financial advisor they trust, he already had a foundation up and running. Since its inception, Patrick and the foundation have made a remarkable impact in the community, including providing more than 134 charitable grants, over $2.9 million in grant funding, and donating over 140,000 meals. Those aren't vanity numbers. That's a decade of consistent giving to the same communities that watched him grow from a rookie quarterback into the face of the franchise. Patrick and the foundation rededicated Kansas City's Martin Luther King Jr. Park and contributed a $1 million donation toward a playground designed to celebrate Dr. King and create a place that is inclusive and accessible for all children. Built to be accessible to children with disabilities. That's not a photo op. That's infrastructure. Led by Patrick and his wife, Brittany, the 15 and the Mahomes Foundation made a $1.625 million contribution and a multi-year commitment to support Boys and Girls Clubs of America. The contribution was directed to benefit communities that personally impacted Patrick and Brittany's lives. Greater Kansas City and Lubbock, Texas. He's not giving to generic causes. He's giving back to the exact zip codes that shaped him. The 15 and the Mahomes Foundation also committed to donate $1,500 for every touchdown by Patrick during the regular season. So every time he throws a touchdown, and he throws a lot of them, money flows directly into youth programs. The football field and the community are literally connected through that structure. In June 2025, the foundation announced a new scholarship program to support outstanding students in Kansas City, Tyler County, and Lubbock County. In collaboration with bold.org, the program will support 3 new scholarships, and each will award $10,000 to 5 exceptional high school seniors within each community, for a total of $150,000 in awards to the class of 2025. The foundation continues to emphasize its signature 15 for 15 program, which supports 15 charitable youth initiatives that focus on academics, science, the arts, classroom supplies, athletics, children with disabilities, after-school programs, and more. That's the machine running quietly in the background while the sports empire gets all the attention. Now let's talk about the next frontier. Because Mahomes isn't done staking his claim in Kansas City. The ownership group of the NWSL's Kansas City Current, including Patrick and Brittany Mahomes as co-owners alongside Angie and Chris Long, met with the WNBA and were reported to be in contention to bring the league's next franchise to Kansas City. The bid was real, it was serious, and it had the full weight of the Kansas City Current's track record behind it. Mahomes made the case himself. He said that bringing a WNBA team to Kansas City was kind of a no-brainer, given the city's appetite for sports, and pointed directly to the Current as evidence that Kansas City shows up for women's sports when you give them the chance. WNBA superstar Caitlin Clark also vouched for a WNBA team in the area, even entertaining the idea of playing for a team there. Clark had developed quite the fan base in Kansas City and is an avid Chiefs fan, attending multiple Chiefs games. When the biggest name in women's basketball is publicly endorsing your city's bid and saying she'd consider playing there, that's a powerful cosign. But Kansas City's bid ultimately didn't make the final cut. The WNBA announced it would be launching 3 expansion teams in the next 4 years: Cleveland, Detroit, and Philadelphia. The move came as a bitter blow to Mahomes, who had planned to lobby for a team to be brought to Kansas City as part of his growing business empire. But those close to the situation believe the door isn't permanently closed. The WNBA is still expanding. Kansas City made the list of serious contenders, and Mahomes isn't the type to accept no as a final answer. He framed it as a long-term play from the start. He said his business involvement in Kansas City franchises was for life after football, a way to still be part of the city's sports scene once he eventually hangs up the cleats. And in the same breath, he made it personal, saying he wanted to show his daughter that she can chase her dream and go out there and execute on whatever that is. He used the record contract as a foundation to build ownership positions across professional sports, an approach that could make him one of the wealthiest athletes of his generation long after the final snap. Patrick Mahomes' financial success is not built on one contract or one endorsement. It is the result of a diversified strategy that combines steady NFL income, elite brand partnerships, and smart ownership decisions. The Kansas City Royals. Sporting Kansas City. The Kansas City Current. Whataburger. Throne Sport Coffee. 1,587 Prime. Whoop. Hyperice. Alpine F1. Major League Pickleball. Buzzer. A Texas bank. And a foundation that has quietly poured nearly $3 million into the communities that matter most to him. That's what it looks like when someone decides to own a city, not with a deed, with presence, with equity, with investment, and with intention. Patrick Mahomes isn't just the face of Kansas City. He's building himself into the bones of it. And by the time his playing days are over, the city will have Mahomes woven into it so deeply that separating one from the other will be nearly impossible.